I'm Tom Vassell.
Z Garcia, what's cracking?
Sam Healy, welcome back, folks.
Welcome back to our top 100 list. Welcome. Okay, so
Somebody should
This
roll
segment-
tape on that.
This segment for me has the distinction that there are no new entries at all. These are all
Boring.
These are all games that have been on my list in recent years.
well, good news is for the People's Choice, there are 4 new entries here, and on my list there are 2. So we'll keep you interested.
Mine says 3, but I think some of these have been on and off and then back on now.
All right,
Here we go.
are we ready?
Yeah, let's
Yes.
do it.
Let's do it. All right, my number 70 has been on the list for 3 years, and you just played the card game version of this, and that is Carson City.
Yes.
I don't know why your beard suddenly got super long and pointy there. Carson City, I do like this Western motif. I know why it hit the list after that deluxe version came out.
Yes.
From Quinted Games, and I really liked it. It just Carson City is a worker placement game that can be very in your face. Very much, you're trying to rob other people's banks and mess with them a lot. And I still like it a lot, though. I think I like the version that came out, though, because there's so many different options. There's so many different people, so many different ways you can play it.
Right.
I even like they have the special sheets for your own startup setting up, and you get a certain amount of things to start. I really like it. So Carson City, my number 70.
All right, my number 70 is a game called Power Grid. It has risen by 1 space. It was 71 last time.
Really?
I'm still amazed that this is on your list at all.
Yeah, I
'cause
know.
it's a pretty heavy
It is.
economic game.
It dropped off of mine. It's been in there before. And it's
It dropped off?
Yeah.
Well, for you, at least you're being consistent
Anything
now.
past 100 is basically garbage, is what
How
I
is
say now.
1 space not being consistent?
That's off. You're off.
No, I don't mean that. I meant he would always be like, well, I like short games, but look, I got Power Grid. Doesn't even have that anymore. You're running out.
Out. Eventually it'll be.
Well, this is probably one of the heaviest games that I do enjoy playing. And I consider this heavier than Twilight Imperium 4. Because it's heavier in a different way. It's heavier, mathy, and crunchy, and that type of stuff.
I feel like we could do a
But-
whole video on just that one statement.
We
but-
probably could, yeah. But see, Twilight Imperium 4, what are you doing? Hello, Earth to Z.
Thinking.
We're going to let the internet handle this one.
No, I mean, I know there's a lot going on in Twilight Imperium 4. I know it's a heavy game, but for me, it's easier to play than Power Grid is, because Power Grid has the number crunching and all this other kind of stuff that I'm just not good at, so it feels heavier to me. That's the only thing I'm saying.
I actually don't disagree. I'll take it a step farther.
That's right, son. Now
It
you
takes-
alone?
It takes more strategy and skill to play Power Grid than it does to play Twilight Imperium.
Now he's alone because he's dumb.
All I know is I assume you have to learn more to play Twilight Imperium than Power Grid.
Yeah, but learning more doesn't necessarily make a game heavier. Like Go is a pretty heavy game. You only need to learn like 2 rules.
I guess I go get away. I'm pushed away from games that have a lot of learning rules. I don't care if it's like strategically demanding. Whatever, go, yeah, sure. But
I guess there's too many things that I just take for granted, I guess, with Twilight Imperium 4. There are a lot of rules in that, yes.
Let me do some more clarification. You are a better gamer if you like Power Grid.
Well, I like Power Grid, so
God.
thank you. There we go. Power Grid, my number 70.
all right, my number 70 was 44 last time. This is Ethnos, one of the most attractive games that's been put out by Cool Mini or Not, nay, any company in existence today or heretofore. Ethnos. Sick of this garbage about Ethnos doesn't look good. I think Ethnos looks good.
Sure, so let's go to the other extreme there, you big fat liar.
What, are you saying I was somehow hyperbolic? How dare you, good sir. Ethnos is, it's like a set collection area control kind of game. You're gathering up different fantasy creatures, and then you play sets of them onto the table. I really like that the turns in this game are super quick. That's one thing I like. And then as you are playing, you'll put out your tokens into the different areas, The more tokens that are there already, though, the bigger sets you need to start playing. So eventually, by the third age, it's really hard to to wrestle away control of the locations from whoever's leading in those spots. And the deck will be modular because you decide which races are in it at the beginning of a game. So in one, there might be, I don't know, goblins or something, and in a different game, there might not be. So it'll change the composition of the game. I really like it a lot. Ethnos, my number 70. From
All right.
Simon.
The People's Choice number 70, which was 39 last year, so that's kind of a drop. And that is Sheriff of Nottingham. What is I'm not like taking this as a personal affront.
Oh, man.
just
You
glad
feel
it's-
affronted.
Saying next
I'm
year's
just
gonna
glad
be gone,
to be
brother.
included.
Yeah.
Is what,
Ain't gonna be
I didn't
be
design the
included
game,
next
it's just
year.
part of Dice Tower Essentials, but I think this one still has a lot of staying power. It still is played by a lot of people. A lot of people really like it. Sheriff of Nottingham, it's a good game. The expansion didn't seem to hit with a bang. I mean, I know a lot of people talked about it, but it wasn't like a big game changer type thing. But the game still just works really well. So, Sheriff of Nottingham, your number 70. My number 69 has been on the list for many, many years. It was 50 last year. It's dropped a bit. But I still like it. It's one of those games that I will gladly play, and it's Airlines Europe. It's a stock market style game. It's basically a reprinting of a much older game called Union Pacific, and it's about connecting these airlines and growing the airlines, but also growing your stock in them. Now, this concept is in a lot of games. Make something bigger or make your share of that bigger. The simplest version of it is Loco or whatever the 80 different versions of Loco are.
Quandary, yeah, same game.
Right. And that's the same thing, right? Make something bigger or take a bigger share of it. And that's how Airlines Europe is. It just does it on a map and connecting routes and things like that. But it does so in such a good way, and it scales really well too, which is why I like it. Are you bored just listening to me talk about it?
Yes. Very much so.
Thank you for that encouraging, kind remarks. Airlines Europe,
I was trying to keep my mouth shut, but you brought it out. I'm just saying.
We're on video. This isn't like an audio thing. People can see you doing this.
ahead.
I'm going to yaw during all your stuff now. Go ahead.
You can go ahead. You'll probably start with this one. My number 69 was 57 last year.
Oh, how boring of a statistic.
Again, I was trying to keep my mouth shut. My number 69 is a game called Sagrada. Sagrada is a beautifully produced
This was
game.
on the list last year?
Yeah. Yeah, it's
I
after-
guess I'm under the impression that the game is newer than that. When did it? I guess it came out
Last year,
spring. Yeah,
Last
okay.
year would
no worries.
have been enough. Yeah.
Sagrada is a dice rolling game where you are using these different colored dice. They're really the translucent dice of reds and yellows and blues and purples, and they just, it really pops on the thing. You're using these dice to fill in different areas on your board to build up a stained glass window. And it just looks amazing. There's a few rules that you have to, and restrictions that you have to follow. Won't get into all that, but it's really neat. First player rolls a pool of dice, and then people are going to be picking from that same pool as you go around the table. It's really fun, and it's really quick too. It doesn't take a whole lot of time to play, and it looks great. So that's my number 69, Sagrada.
Yeah, Sagrada is one of those games that gets a lot of. It's very, very popular. I guess this is one of those ones where I'm kind of off kilter with everybody. I think the game is okay. It just, I never feel like playing it. It just feels too puzzly for me, maybe. But it certainly is pretty.
Yeah.
All right, my number 69 is, you were talking about the Dice Tower Essentials line. This is one of those games. This is Viral. I really enjoyed this one. It's
I'm just kidding.
Viral is kind of an area control game with a theme that, while bizarre, works.
What?
And makes-
Disease is a real thing.
It is, but it's also bizarre for us to be playing an area control game infecting organs in a human body.
This is true.
But it works thematically. I mean,
Yes.
you'll get attacked, you'll get flushed out of the system. You can move from organ to organ.
Lush.
Poor choice of words, sir.
No,
Really?
it's perfect. Perfect choice of words.
I mean, if you take medicine to flush out a disease, it does flush it out.
And it gets flushed again.
Maybe, maybe not. Sometimes you want to...
Go back to your yawning.
Anyway, Viral, I think is a great game. It's also the cartoony look
Yeah.
helps
That's
not
deadened.
lead to that disgusting conversation.
That's correct.
I actually like the look of this game a lot.
Well, if
I
it
think
was realistic,
Disgusting
nobody would
yet
play this
factual.
game.
Yeah, it's neat. I like it a lot. So Viral, 69, and apparently this is new on the list. I thought I had this on the list before, but it might have come off of 1 year and maybe back on.
No, it came out around the time we were making this list last
Okay,
year.
that's why then. Okay, well there you go.
My number 69, or the People's Choice number 69, sorry, your number 69, has been on the list a long time ago, then fell off and came back on last year
Okay.
at 50, and that is Through the Ages. For the simple reason
reprinted,
that the new reprint, and also it was just hard to get, and now it's
Yeah.
easier to get, and also the new reprint looks amazing. So, again, this is one that not everyone wants to play because it's very long and involved, but the people who do like it think it's great. And I wouldn't be surprised if the app keeps it up. I'm curious how many people vote.
There's an app for this?
Yeah. I'm curious how many people vote based on apps.
Oh, that's interesting.
Like, I mean, if I play an app, let's say I play Carcassonne all the time as an app. Is Carcassonne one of my favorite games? I tend to, like, exclude apps almost in my mind.
You're still playing the game.
True, but what if it's app only like Hearthstone? Does Hearthstone count? Should it count?
Oh.
I'm opening the can of worms.
Yes, you are.
Sorry. All right.
Hearthstone
Anyway,
is just an app game, though. It's not a board game. Whereas Carcassonne is a board game that has an app. There's a difference there.
I would play a physical version of Hearthstone. No, I wouldn't. You're number 69 through the ages. My number 68 is new to the list, although, let's see, when did this come out? It came out at Essen last year, and when I first played it and stuff, it would not have made my top 100, but I played it so many times since, I love it, and that's Rajas of the Ganges.
Ooh, really?
Yeah, this is one, I don't think you have played this one
I
yet.
want to.
Yeah, this one is really, this is actually one of those games that I have to go back and get a copy of because it was one of those, I was like, oh, I like it, but I don't love it, and I have to love it to keep it. Then I went and played it some more, and I was like,
Now you love it.
what a fool I was. I like the game because the game is essentially you're using dice to pay for actions. And there's 4 different colors, so it's like 4 currencies of dice that you're using to do different actions. You have a little board that you're building your own little Carcassonne style thing on it.
Okay.
And you have 2 tracks in this game, a money track and a fame track, and they go in opposite directions, and when they cross, you win. So you can just move. I played one game where I was like, I'm just doing money. And I got money almost all the way around the board, and then I just moved the fame a little bit, and I lost, but I came really close to winning. I thought that was I like that feature a lot. Essentially, you're just trying to get, you need to get this, it's almost like goes back to careers where I need 20 hearts and 20 whatever to win. This is kind of the same thing. They have to be like an even number. But fame is every 2 money is 1 fame, so the tracks are different sizes too.
Okay.
But that's because you're spending money in the game as it is too. It's just, there's a lot of cool features to this game. Looks great on the table, and also this one seems to be getting some traction.
Yeah.
When it came out in a plethora of these midweight Euro games, but this is one I really, really enjoy. I was surprised because I guess the way I realized how much I enjoy it was when I was making this list. And I was going through Raja, and I was like, oh, yeah. Wow, it keeps moving up.
Yeah.
And that's what happens sometimes. So this is new to the list for me, Rajas of the Ganges.
That one I definitely want to play.
My number 68 was 58 last year, and so it has slipped a bit, but it is Smash Up. I just don't play it as much as I used to, but I still really enjoy the concept of the game where you're battling over different bases that are on the table. You have your own unique, I guess you could say, deck of cards that is a smash up between 2 different factions, and nobody else at the table has the same 2 abilities that you have, or 2
Well, if
sets
this was
of abilities.
Jason's version,
Well,
he
okay.
would have 2 copies of every faction in case someone wanted to play the same faction twice.
Really?
No, that blows
Okay.
half the value of the game out of the water. That's part of the thing that I really like is that I am completely different than everybody else at the table.
Right.
Favorite faction?
Favorite faction is probably either the Bears or the Monkeys.
Oh, those are good choices. All right. I was gonna be wrong, but those are actually good choices. The Bears I really like. There's so many good factions now at this point, though.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. My number 68, Smash Up.
All right. My number 68 is a kid's game, technically. But I would be lying if I didn't say I have mostly played this with grown-ups.
This better not be that stupid bear game.
No, it's not that. This is Ghost Fighting Treasure Hunters.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Ghost
Really? Let's make your
Fighting
top
Treasure
100.
Hunters is new to the list. I really enjoy it. It's, you know how they made, Forbidden Island gets often the moniker of being pandemic for families?
Yes.
This is pandemic for families, I think.
I wouldn't say it's pandemic.
It's not pandemic. You know why? Because it doesn't say pandemic and it's from a different person. But this is pandemic
Thanks, Captain.
for families.
It's more like
And
ghost
if
stories
anyone
for
contradicts
families.
me on that, I am going to feed them their bright red hat.
That's good.
Just,
What if-
I'm not being specific or anything.
What if you don't own a bright red hat?
Then you're fine. Because you're safe.
Cool.
Hey, for a second, do you want to?
No.
Ghost Fighting Treasure Hunters. You are rolling dice. You are moving around the mansion, gathering the treasure, bringing it back outside of the mansion. But as you are rolling and moving and all this stuff, ghosts keep popping up in the different rooms. Eventually, if 3 little green ghosts pop up, they turn into one big red monstrosity ghost. Too many of those on the board, too many outbreaks. Oh, excuse me. And boom, you lose the game. It's the same thing. But
This is one of my son's favorite games, but I don't think I'd enjoy playing with adults.
you've played it.
Yeah, I
You're
am.
an adult.
I am.
Did you hate it?
No, he just said he wouldn't want to enjoy playing with adults.
With other adults.
I enjoy playing with my kids,
I agree. This is a kid's game.
but
I said that. That's the
roll
first
and
thing I said.
But then you said I play it with adults.
I enjoy playing it with adults.
you're weird.
Yes, we are. This is not news.
At least I'm not weird like you.
Come on, man. Anyway, that's my 68 Ghost Fighting Treasure Hunters.
All right, People's Choice was 78 last year, moved up 10 spots, and I imagine it will continue to do so for a while, and that's Century Spice Road.
Oh.
Especially if I had added Century
so
Gold
that's the thing.
Edition.
Yeah, we had Gollum on a tongue.
And it still moved up, though, with me even not combining them.
Clerical error.
So strange.
All right, well, next year we'll combine them.
At number 1.
Okay, I'm sorry. All right, anyway.
No, I think you shouldn't combine. If people voted for both, like the same person, then they're not meant to be combined at that point.
Or we could just disqualify that person's votes.
That might.
I'll just tell people to vote for one of them next year.
This seems weird. Why would you vote for the same game twice?
All right.
It is literally the same game with just
is.
different looks on it.
Let's start again from 100.
Anyway, this game is definitely a very popular one. It's one I see being played all the time. A lot of people really enjoy it. So that is Century Spice Road, your number 68. All right, my number 67 has been on the list for 4 years. It was 39 last year. It's one of my favorite flicking games, and that is Catacombs. They came out with the... Are you making fun of my flicking games?
Mm-hmm.
I feel really awkward in the middle here.
I-
'Cause you're like being so passive aggressive, and you're being kind of.
I'm just being aggressive.
Aggressively passive.
I just think it's funny that you like enough flicking games to have favorites, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Flicking games are fun.
Yeah, but there's also like 3 of them. I mean,
No, I can make a top 10 flicking games.
of course you can. You can make a top 10 anything list.
Can't make a top 10 favorite people I have with Z. I can't even make.
Wow.
I can't even.
That was such an awful comeback. I love it. That was like sand falling through your fingers kind of comeback. I love it.
That was pretty bad. Okay, so
All right,
anyway,
go, do it.
Catacombs. They came out last year with Catacombs and Castles, which is like a team-based game,
Okay.
2 versus each other, which I like, but I like just basic Catacombs, my favorite. 1 versus all, which I'm a big fan of too. And there's so much, even like the Catacombs and Castles, I'm like, ooh, some of that stuff can be used. They have wyverns and flying creatures now in the game that you put your disc on top of another disc and flick them.
Okay.
I like that sort of stuff. It's a lot of fun for me. Catacombs. And yes, one of my favorite flicking games. Jerk.
Oh, my number 67 was
It's gonna get real.
46 last year. And so it has experienced some slippage.
No, that was last. That was
It is
that was
not a
last
flicking
video.
game.
That was last video. So we can't do that again.
It is a dice rolling game, and pretty much that is all this game is. There are some cards in it that represent different castles
Roll
that
for
you're trying to conquer. It's called Age of War.
Oh, of course.
It's called
I keep
Age
forgetting.
of War. It's from Fantasy Flight Games. It is the dice are all custom dice. They all look really great. They have engraved symbols on them. They're not printed on or anything like that. And you're simply just trying to roll for different combinations of symbols so that you can conquer that castle. Once you get a whole complete set of those castles, you can actually turn them over and they're yours for the rest of the game. And so it's just really fun. I enjoy it a lot. It's a fast game and it's a very gateway level game. I've had a lot of people who don't usually play games just jump into this one and have a lot of fun with it. So that's my number 67, Age of War.
Do you own this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, this was an easy one. Like if you're ever picking games to carry around in your pocket, this is certainly one.
Yeah, if you've got big pockets.
Well, you know what? I do.
Okay.
Wait,
My
I
number
haven't cut these pockets yet. Oh man. Sorry.
My 67 is a game you could carry around in your pocket with massive pockets. Summoner Wars.
The master
I
set.
believe that pocket is called a satchel.
That is luggage.
Yes.
This was 29 last time, so it actually dropped quite a bit for me. I just haven't been playing it, but I still enjoy it very much. It's a 2-player head-to-head combat game with cards that kind of behave like miniatures or like units. Because where they are, they will be located on a grid and they move around and then carry their stats with them. I like the way this works a lot, having all the information right there on the cards, the manipulation of where you are located on this board. You have walls out there that you can hide behind that you'll spawn next to new cards, and the card management, just the idea that you have to spend cards to pay for other units to come into play. Lots of dice rolling, kind of a swingy game, really. If you roll badly, you'll probably lose. Doesn't matter if you're good at the game or not. But I don't care that much. I think this game is fun. I like the setting. It's not generic. It's like generic fantasy adjacent. It is not as generic as, Lord of the Rings feels to me. I know that was first, but, this is...
Okay. The Dice Hour does not agree with the opinions of all the people that Lord of the Rings is generic fantasy.
Well, I said Lord of the Rings was kind of like first. Everything after that feels like it copies it. That I treat as kind of generic. But this doesn't feel that way. Summoner Wars doesn't feel that way.
No, it doesn't. It's not.
I agree.
There we go. He said he agrees.
I agree with
Lord of the Rings, generic fantasy.
the Summoner Wars
Tom
part.
Vassal.
I like to clarify.
67, Summoner Wars.
All right, well, people disagree with Z on this one for
How
your
could they
number 67.
possibly-
Because you're always talking about how you don't like city building games, but Suburbia has been on the list for 6 straight years.
Because it's good.
It is good.
I never played it.
Will you play it?
No. It's bad.
So, anyhow, yes, this is. It's interesting because the other games, Castle of Mad King Ludwig, between Castles of Mad, that's probably not going to make the list either. But of all the Bezier games, other than the Ultimate Werewolf, I think this one is his most popular and the one that that's done the best for him. So, Suburbia. Number 66 for me is actually double last year's score, which was 33. So, and you know what? I still like the game a lot. The problem is I keep playing its sibling way more, and this game is Cyclades. And every time I'm like, oh, I love Cyclades, but I could play Kemet. And that's just how it works. And so that, spoiler, I guess Kemet's higher on the list. But
And then with the set expansion coming out for Kemet.
yeah, right. So
further
there's another expansion for Kemet that's out, and I was thinking about this because I have all the pieces for Cyclades and Kemet, and some of them have that crossover.
Oh, right.
And I'm like, oh, how should I do this? Like, out of store them all in the Kemet box. Why? Because that's the one I play way more often. And I like Cyclades especially with the Titans expand. Is it Titans? Giant Cyclops.
Giants or Titans or something like that.
Yeah,
yes.
that expansion is amazing, and it changes the whole game to the point where all three of us, like, my score almost doubled on how much I like the game. I don't think that's possible, actually, but it still went up a lot.
12 out of 10.
But anyway, my number 66, Cyclades.
My number 66 is another dice rolling game, although this one is you roll the dice in cups, and then you slam those cups down on the table.
Liar's Dice.
It is not Liar's Dice.
That's his next one.
It is Dice Town. A very neat Western-themed game where you're trying to basically roll the dice. The dice have different faces of kings, aces, and
Poker
jacks,
dice.
and poker dice. And you're trying to roll the best hand, generally speaking. But there are times where you don't necessarily want to roll the best hand. You just want to roll the best of this category and the best of that category, so you can get more rewards than just one place. But it's a really neat game, really fun. It has been on my list for I don't know how long. It has fallen a little bit from 39 to 66, so there is that, but still on the list, and I think it's probably going to settle around this area as well, because I do really enjoy it. I'm not going to get rid of it, I don't think. So that's my number 66, Dice Town.
Yeah, I saw some people playing this in our group the other day.
Really?
And it was so quiet. I was like, you slam those cups down. I want to hear some noise.
My 66 was 60 last time, so basically the same spot. This is K2, a mountain climbing game that I've enjoyed for quite a few years. Still a big fan of it. I remember when I first played this, I felt in many ways that it reminded me of Pandemic, because it takes a very thematic setting and it abstracted it just the right amount to make it really playable, very quick turns, while not eliminating all of the flavor of that setting. And this game does that. You still got to contend with weather, climbing the mountain, acclimating, letting your body acclimate to the climb. All of these things are represented in the system, but it's, you're playing some cards and just the turns are quick. It's involved thematically, but it's very easy to play, and I really enjoy this.
You said this was the only one on the list of these mountain climbing games?
I think for me that's the only one.
Like Everest isn't...
No, Mount Everest I did not like as much. I still like K2 better. Mount Everest, well, did what I'm talking about. It kind of went ahead and added a bunch of stuff. Makes it less streamlined in many ways. I still enjoy it, and it's a different thing. But it added a bunch of stuff. You can, however, use that mountain with this system. They're cross-compatible that way.
Oh, that's good.
And there is an expansion to K2 called Broad Peak, a different mountain, and they have another one coming out soon, actually. So the game is getting support. I'm very happy to see that. But yeah, K2 is my number 66. Really enjoy it.
All right, People's Choice number 66 is climbed from 79 last year, and that's Istanbul. And this is another one of those games that it won the Kennerspiel, and it was already out, right? Yeah, it did.
Okay.
And then it just started getting more and more buzz, and I hear people keep talking about it, and I like it, although I feel Yokohama has kind of done a better job of it, a more in-depth job. And what was the game we were recently playing that someone was comparing to Istanbul? We were talking about how we had two workers and we put them out on the board, and I said that was okay. Never mind. I can't.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. But I agree with you that Istanbul has continued to climb and stay in the consciousness, and it's especially for a Euro game. One that has like called Istanbul, has that sort of generic trade things for other things kind of vibe. Yeah, and I think the expansions haven't hurt, but also the game is just solid.
I haven't played any of the expansions. Have you?
That's good. Yeah, they're good. Well, I played one of them. There's two, I think.
There's also a dice game and all that, but the base game, it's still going up there.
Yes.
Istanbul was once Constantinople. Why they changed it, I can't say. All right, let's move on. My number 65 has been on the list for 5 years. It's dropped. It was 35 last year, but I can tell you why it dropped, and I just don't play it as much. I still like it a lot, and that's Battle Lore 2nd Edition. I think the system is fantastic.
Battle Lore first.
I am not upset that they haven't come out with more stuff for it, although it bugs me a little, I guess. I feel like Fantasy Flight could have made them more factions, more stuff.
Do they still have this game?
Yeah, this is, and they're tearing out the universe. This is theirs.
And is it even in print? I feel like it's not in print.
Well, I don't think so. I don't think it's sold well enough.
Star Wars? Then it's not in print.
Is it Star Wars?
There seems
Game
to
of
be
Thrones?
a slight twinge
Cthulhu?
of truth to that.
No, out of print. Or did it come out last month.
I'm surprised they never did slap a Star Wars theme on this.
I'm calling
It
it.
would have worked.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Really?
Yeah, I think they'll make a Battlelore Star Wars. I think so. Anyhow, I really like the game though. It is amazing. It has the best hidden movement setup of any game I've ever seen, where you basically just put cards all over the board, and some of the cards are blank, and some of the cards are your units.
Right,
It
right.
works really well in that regard, and it has what I've always wanted these games to have: monsters fighting monsters. You know.
Fight monster.
No, but I mean, there's always been a lot of these games. Do you remember Age of Mythology from Eagle Games?
Come on, Cat. Why you got to do this? Yes.
And you had these, they came with like tons of plastic miniatures and minotaurs, and
They had epic battles.
then you would hold it in your fist, and the other guy would hold it, so we reveal them. It was like rock, paper, scissors. It was so disappointing.
Oh,
Someone should take those miniatures. Have got to be sitting around somewhere
they're somewhere in New Mexico under the sands, is what I've heard.
with the Atari cartridges.
Yes.
All right.
All right, my number 65 was 31 last year, so it has slipped
hate
a
it
bit.
now.
No, I don't hate it. Still like it a lot. I just don't play it as often as I used to. I used to play this like 2 or 3 times a week at one point.
Wow.
It's because I was doing a summer camp, and I would take it in for our lunchtime during summer camp.
Please, it's a flicking game.
No, it's King of Tokyo.
That was
Dice rolling.
that was a very disdainful no, but all right.
So yeah, I just don't play it as much as I used to. I still like it a lot. It still has it's probably one of my go-to dice rolling games as far as in gateway experiences like that. If I want a little bit more meat than something like Age of War or something like that. So 65 is still a good spot. It's probably going to rest around here. King of Tokyo.
Well, wait till I
like it
get
a
that
lot.
mega box together.
Yeah,
That's
maybe.
happening today.
Maybe so.
Maybe.
King of Tokyo.
All right, my 65 is a game that I used to play 2-3 times a day. I did that once, probably, ever. This was on the list last time at 37. However, that time it was called It's Mine. Now it's been reprinted, and the
It's
new
yours.
title is called Get Out of My Face. No, it's called Caper. So the new printing is called Caper from Keymaster. I believe the company is called Keymaster Games. Very nice production. Same game, a couple of different changes, but same deal. Much easier to get now, of course. And I really enjoy it. It's a 2-player. The new one says 3 or 4 as well. It's a 2-player game
I
that
love it when games do that.
in which you are drafting. It's actually a drafting game for 2 that works very well. And you are deploying thieves to different locations in cities around the world, and then giving them equipment as well. And just trying to control that location in that city and score victory points. It's got a lot going on in it, actually. But it's quick. It felt to me the first time I played kind of like 7 Wonders for 2, not the duel, because that's you taking cards from a structure on the table. But the drafting felt very much like 7 Wonders. So I really like it. Caper, 65. Definitely would recommend you check that out if you're looking for a good 2-player game.
Your number 65 is new to the list. I was waiting.
Spider sense.
And that's Raiders of the North Sea. Now, this is not a new game at all.
No, it's
but it won. Did it win or was it nominated? I can't remember if it won now or not. The Kenner Spiel.
not win.
It did not win, but it was nominated, and then Renegade brought it over. So those 2 things back to back, I think, put it in people's consciousness. And then, of course, there's expansions and stuff. I don't know how much that has to do with it, but it's
The whole
definitely
line of
moved
games
up.
also has so many different games and expansions to
Yeah,
them.
this
and they
is
bridge them, and
the
this
only one that even came
one's-
close to
is
making
the
it on the
popular
People's
one
Choice.
for sure, yeah.
Yeah, so Raiders of the North Sea, first time. Congratulations, number 65.
Cool.
All right, my number 64 has been on the list for 6 years. I really enjoy this game. And even though there's another game I'd probably like more, well, not probably, I do, I
There's
still will
about
gladly
65
play this
games
one.
you like more. Well, 63 rather.
Lords of Waterdeep. Still really enjoying this.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Oh, you don't like Lords of Waterdeep?
Not really, no.
Generic fantasy hater, dude. That's all.
Oh, that's right.
That's all Lords of Waterdeep is. Generic
I'm just feeling like he's a
And-
hater
and it
in
was
general
a generic
today.
worker placement vibe too. Like I always felt like Lords of Waterdeep did nothing that basically every other worker placement game didn't already do with flair.
It does it so streamlined. That's what I like about it.
It's a good intro, I guess, for that kind of genre.
I won't argue that it definitely is a game that if you took the fantasy theme out, it would still work. You could be delivering contracts of wheat. However, if you add in the little meeples, which helps a lot, I just like it. And I also like owning my own buildings, and the expansion really buffed it up for me a lot. It
Well, that
still
I never
works.
played, so who knows?
Lords of Waterdeep just still works. It's still the one. Still
Okay.
one of the ones.
Yeah, it's one of the ones. It ain't the one.
It's still one of the ones.
My number
That
64
makes me happy.
is my favorite version of Ticket to Ride, and that is the Marklin edition of Ticket to Ride. I like it for its...
Not the new Germany edition.
Yeah, not the New Germany edition. This one is
That one's so
slightly
much better.
different. Slightly different. I like this one a lot more. Each and every card that you have in your deck is different from the others, even within the same colors. And that's one of the really cool parts about this game that I like.
You do like that?
Yeah, I love it.
I'm surprised that people don't. That's amazing to me.
That's
like that.
really cool.
Want to look the same. They're the same card.
You don't think that about other games like Carcassonne. There's two tiles that are exactly the same. They have different artwork on them.
Yeah, but I'm not collecting sets.
If you can't tell that these two blue trains are the same train,
I'm just saying, I mean, for me, I don't like the photorealistic. They're actually pictures of Marklin trains.
Yeah,
they're cool.
it
Sure.
looks really good.
But, no, actually, if I'm collecting sets, I want them to all... That's like if I'm playing poker with a regular deck of cards and all the pips for spades are all spades, but they all look slightly different. That would bother me, yeah.
No, that's not the
No,
same thing.
It's not the same thing at all, because everything about the card looks exactly the same except for the picture
Yeah, the
that you
picture of
can't
the
see
train.
half the time anyway.
That's true, I guess, if you're spreading them in your hand.
Yeah, I really enjoy this game, and this is my favorite way to play Ticket to Ride. I like the passenger mechanism that's in it, on top of everything else that's there too. So number 64, it was 61 last year, so it hasn't slipped a lot.
So it's pretty.
Just it's kind of solid. I think it's found its home. Number 64, Ticket to Ride, Marklin.
Marklin is good, man.
You also like the Marklin more than the Germany?
Yeah, I can't really talk to you right now, so you should just go.
I'm telling you, man, it's awkward being right here.
My
You cut the tension with a knife.
My 64 is a new entry. I just played this live a couple weeks ago. Rescue Polar Bears. Rescue Polar Bears is coming out, or just came out, or is about to come out in a reprint from Mayday Games. I really like this co-op game. You are sailing around rescuing polar bears, but also gathering data points, and that's really how you win. The polar bears are something you need to do to not lose, but it's actually not furthering your goals. And balancing those two things is really where the game's at. Each of the ships that the players control is going to have special powers. You have to... There are these points that show up at which the ice floats will melt. You have to rescue those polar bears, but you also know it's coming up, so you can, you got this track that lets you know, okay, well, this is going to be melting in probably a few turns. Deal with that. But I got to go pick up that data point over there. Mm-hmm. What do you do? The pressure in this is fantastic. It feels different from most co-op games out there, so I really enjoy it. Nice production, too. Very good-looking game. Rescue Polar Bears, my 64. And again, it's new to the list.
This is not new to the list. The People's Choice 64 has been on the list since it started. It was 42 last year, so it's been dropping maybe a bit, but Twilight Struggle. Still just consistently high. I believe this is in the top 5 at Board Game Geek. It's pretty high up there. Yeah. This is, again, a game that's, it's one of those games that if I meet someone and spend maybe 10 minutes with them, I will know if they will like Twilight Struggle or not.
Would I like it?
You would not. However, right now, apparently you don't like anything. So, including beautiful trains.
I like polar bears. Polar bears are cute.
Not in real life. Have you seen one?
That's probably true.
Actually terrifying.
Anyhow, but Twilight Struggle, it's the whole Cold War. It's a fairly involved game, but has a lot going on, and it's area control, war-style game. I like it, but yeah, Twilight Struggle. You would not like it.
Mm-hmm.
number 63 has been on the list since the very beginning. It even was in the top 10 at one point. It was 45 last year. El Grande. Still the classic area control game. Still fantastic. Although nowadays when I play it, I probably want to play with the one expansion. I forget which one it's called.
Grandissimo.
What?
I don't know. The expansion.
I need you to translate what he just said.
Nope.
Okay.
Wolfgang Kramer. El Grande.
No, but the expansion basically gave you, especially in the new big box, there's a whole pile of cards, and you pick which cards you like, almost like you build your deck a little bit ahead of the game, which I like, and you have different cards. It's a lot of fun, but again, I don't know that I would do that with people who've never played before because they wouldn't know what cards to put in. So unless you all play with the same cards, it's still best to play El Grande straight. Still great game. It doesn't look that good anymore.
Or ever did. I mean, it never did.
Well, yeah, but you didn't notice so much
when there was nothing to compare it to.
15 years
before
ago or
art was
20 years ago.
discovered. Yeah, that's true.
before art was discovered. El Grande, my number 63.
El Grande is one of those games I just don't get. I mean, I get it. It was an important
I
game.
thought you liked it.
Not really. I mean, it's okay. I'll put up with it, but
He has been treated by
El Grande
like
is
garbage
like-
this whole
it's an
time.
important game in history. I mean, it, for all intents and purposes, we attribute, area control to El Grande. There are a lot of area control games out there by now. El
I
Grande
still
is,
like El Grande.
ugh. You're
Okay,
allowed.
okay.
All right, my number 63.
When this list is over, you and me are going to speak to him
You're speaking to me now.
with some socks and nickels.
That's threads. That's a thread. I'm just saying. You should go get lunch after this and let him cool
I
down.
am going to go
Yeah,
get lunch.
All right, my
Also
number
because I'm hungry, not because... No, I'm just hungry. Let's go.
my number 63 was the People Choice's 64, and
Get out.
That is Twilight
Sam.
Struggle. That is correct. It was 81 last year. The slight resurgence, I think, is probably the app that came out. I've played it a few times with that app. I haven't played with anybody real over online through the app. Just the bots.
Are the bots any good?
Yeah, I get whooped every single time. So
What was the game again?
Twilight Struggle.
Cool.
I said that.
I wasn't listening.
Oh, okay. 63 Twilight Struggle. It is a great
Keeping track of all the times.
area control game between the USSR and the United States back in the Cold War era. And one of the really cool things about it is that it has a really fun factor to it, but it also has a really good educational factor to it as
Right.
well. And it's rare that a game can do that. They can, there's a lot of games that can be educational, but they're not really fun. They're fun, and then they're not really educational. But this one kind of toes the line on both aspects for it. So I really think it's great for that respect. Number 63, Twilight Struggle.
Mine's fun. 63. Factory fun. Because it ain't called factory educational, that's for sure. It's fun. And last year, it was 28. And it was also factory funner.
So it's less fun, is what you're
And so
saying.
since it dropped in fun, I decided to go from funner to just fun.
While Factory Fun did not make my top 100 or
Or
really
1,000.
come close, I still think that's
Anyway.
an excellent choice that you picked, and I think highly of you and your choices.
Oof.
Because that's how we treat each other.
With condescension. Anyway,
pretty much what
factory
that was.
fun. I think I have...
I'm trying to help you here.
Now that I've played both enough, I do think I like Factory Fun, the original one, better. But that's because the version I have is the Z-Man printing, which is much better than the Koali printing. He's a small
I
company.
want to say they're re-releasing Funner this year at
Yeah, like
SN.
funner and bigger or something. I don't know what that entails. I have no idea what he's doing. I still like the game
It
a
is
lot.
there, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I like Factory Fun a lot. It is. I know it's an esoteric kind of pick. A lot of people are not going to like this, and probably the biggest mistake I ever made in a top 10 list ever was putting this in the top 10 games everyone needs.
That was
What, you didn't hear about that one at all, did
most
you?
definitely a lie, yes.
That was, yeah. I mean, this is. You might like it. I think if you do like it, I think you'll like it a lot. But you're just as likely to despise it.
Yeah, if you don't like it, you will also don't like it a lot.
Yeah, I think there's not a whole lot of middle
That's-
ground. Like that's all right. There's
That's
not a
weird
lot of
phrasing, but I agree.
Yes.
Yeah, there's not going to be a lot of people who just think it's okay. Anyway, 63 Factory Fun.
All right, the People's Choice for 63 is new to the list. Came out last year from Ryan Lockett, and that is Near and Far.
Ooh, baby.
Now, I checked above and below was 125. I thought it would be higher because I know
below.
I like...
It's below.
No, but it could be above.
Technically, it depends.
You
which
would have
way
said that no matter where the position was.
Of course, come on.
Unless, of course, it was the same number, in which case...
Joke ruined.
So stupid. Okay, so...
I'm not the one losing it here.
I'm not losing it. It's been lost.
I don't know what we're talking about anymore. No, but...
Near and far.
Near and far, yes.
This is near. This is far.
No. Do it again.
No.
This is
No, I got away with that one.
This is awkward. Now we're okay.
This is still awkward.
Yes.
It's still
Because of the
awkward.
way I'm looking at
All
you.
right. So, okay, so I thought above and below had more of a popular thing. I thought it would be higher on the list.
Really?
On the People's Choice.
Oh, no.
Sure, I know I like Near and Far better. I
Near
think
and far, it definitely feels like souped up above and below. Above and below honestly feels like the trial run for near and far.
All right. Well, anyway, Near and Far. I'm curious where it will end up next year, but that's pretty high, 63.
Yeah.
All right, we gotta hurry because we may be losing it here. All right, my number 62 was 32 last year. This is the second year it's on the list. I still like this one a lot, although I don't think you have played this one yet, and that is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
No.
Heroes in a Half Shell. I really like this game. This is one of the, if you said you want to play some dungeon crawl, I think I'd play this over a lot of them. It's just that much fun because,
Sewer crawl.
yeah, but I think Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is more scenario based than the other ones. And it has really tight rules comparative, let's say, to Conan and Batman.
Right.
And the teamwork is just phenomenal. The fact that you have these dice, you put them in front of you, those are the actions, but the die on the right and left also can be used by the person to your right and left.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I really like that because that encourages you, like, please put that die there so I can use it. You know, you're kind of working together to be able to use the dice. Really fun and great miniatures, doesn't hurt. It's just a great production overall.
Are they reworking this? Like they're
Yeah,
doing
I think what
something
they
with
did
it?
was they put out some new box because the one I have is the Kickstarter exclusive, blah, blah, blah. So they're making one now for retail, I think. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, my number 62.
My number 62 was my 75th game last year.
Oh, it moved
so
up.
It moved up.
Uppage.
First Class, All Aboard the Orient Express.
What was this game?
Have you played it yet?
No.
No,
This
it's
is
a great game.
This is a failure on our part that I've not yet
I think
played
so
this
it is.
game.
It's a great game. They're coming out with a couple, maybe just one more module at
Second
Essen this
Class.
year. No,
They already had aren't there like 5 modules or something?
A, B, C, D, and E. So yes. And then they're coming out with F and G, I want to say.
That's 2 more. Bam. 7.
So it's just really cool. You can mix and match. And when you use different modules, not necessarily how you win the game, but how you score points during the game changes.
Okay.
So it gives you a different feel with each different set of modules that you use. I like games that do that change not how you play the game, but how you play within the game. If that makes any sense. Probably not. But anyway, that's my number 62, First Class, All Aboard the Orient Express.
Is that the full title of it?
Yes.
Really?
There's a lot of full titles we never use.
Yeah.
All right, well, my 62 is called Caveman, but the full title is Caveman: The Quest for Fire. Was my 81, so it actually moved up. This is one you guys are always making fun of, at least Tom is.
Not anymore.
You haven't played it.
I'm treating this with respect.
Oh,
that
is that
is
what
a
you're-
great choice.
I don't feel truth emanating from that edge of the table.
That ain't truth. I'm feeling it. All right, Caveman is it's a card game. It's fully a card game. You are building up your clan of people and cavemen people, and you are going out and getting food. So you need to attack creatures. Some of your people might go down in the fight. You roll for that. You are gathering resources. You are inventing contraptions, which are really neat things that give you unique powers. The whole purpose is to eventually have enough buying power or creation power to get fire, which is one card in the deck.
Fire.
When it comes up, though, usually the first time it shows up, no one's quite ready for it. So when it does come up, you actually shuffle it back into the deck, and the next time it hits, if someone's ready, boom, you can get it. If no one's ready, to get shuffled back in the deck. It sounds like that just sounds random and weird. It's actually, it works really well, the way that plays out.
Has anyone ever got it the first time it came up in the deck?
I don't remember. It's rare.
Okay.
You have to really be doing particularly well. Caveman: The Quest for Fire. I really like this game. Super unappreciated, underappreciated. 62 for me.
All right, People's Choice 62, which was not on the list last year, although technically last year the 3rd edition was on the list, so they've switched spots. Twilight Imperium 4th edition
All right, cool.
has made it up on the list, and 3rd is off.
What was 3rd last year? Do you know?
No, I don't have that information here.
This is probably higher than it was because of the freshness.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm telling you, I would say, oh, well, you know, it's an esoteric game. But when we were at Dice Tower Con, I saw 4 games being played at the same time.
Yep.
And it wasn't a tournament. It was just 4 groups of people playing this game.
Amazing.
It's
When we were playing it, there was another one, and during that same time, there was another one being played right around the corner. And then there was another time where you saw 4 of them being played at the same
it's
time.
crazy.
It's an event game, you know?
Sure, but it's one that people, there's a lot of these big event games. That's one I see being played at conventions.
Most of the people that I talk to at conventions, now, you know, they could be, I'm not going to say they're lying, but they could be embellishing
that's good.
a little bit. But they say that they play once a week. You know, they have their
wild.
group of people that love the game, and they play, you know, once a week or once every other week or whatever.
Wait.
So they play a lot.
That's amazing.
Alrighty. And finally, for my last one on this list, this is new to the list, although the game has been out for 2 years now. I just like it so much, and each successive expansion makes me want to play it more, and it's not in space. That one did not make the list. The original Clank.
Clank it up.
I thought about, I mean, I like them both, and I put them together last year, whatever number they were. But just straight Clank, and again, I like Clank in Space a lot. But if I had to pick one, I'll pick Clank. And
Really?
maybe I am combining them here together, but I forget what I
Why would you
did.
pick the one that has the flaw in it?
What's the flaw?
Where you
The
can
title
just grab
has 1 exclamation mark only.
Where you can just grab one treasure and then run out and then completely negate the entire spirit of the game.
What is going on?
Why would you? Why?
Because nowadays, with all the new cards and all the stuff, if you do that, you will lose. I have yet to see someone run in, grab one thing, get out, and win the game. It's
Yeah.
always going to be the person who waits a little bit longer than them. Sure, the person who goes down deep won't win if someone does that. So if you do that, you are ruining the game for that one person for sure. But if you run in and grab something and run out, you won't. Also,
Doesn't that trigger the end game?
all right.
Yeah,
You'll
it
ruin
starts-
the game
it starts-
for everyone,
It
then.
starts clicking down.
No,
Once
I'm saying
somebody-
the person who waits just slightly longer than you will win. If you run and grab the first thing you can get and run back out, someone else will be able to get the second thing and they'll get more stuff than you and they'll win.
Okay, all right. I like the sci-fi one better, but
I do too. Much better.
I don't know. Maybe it's the simplicity I like
it
more.
fixed the problem that I had with the original game. The original game, it just felt like you could always have that one person that just wants to try to kill everybody else.
Yeah, but you know what? I also haven't played it in a long time where someone did that.
sure.
There's been someone who said, you know what? I have enough stuff. I'm going to get out. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I've yet to see someone like, I'm in, I'm out. Because that also...
Just to be a jerk about it, right?
Yeah, that's kind of the player too. So
guess.
that's my 61. Clank.
My 61 was 63 last year, so it slightly rose. Don't know why. That's really kind of about the same spot for me. Anyway, it's Caverna: The Cave Farmers.
Nice.
Caverna is my game of choice as far as Rosenberg is concerned, because he really has games that are really hard to play and they feel like work. This one doesn't. This one feels like you can do pretty much whatever you want to do, and you still have a good chance of winning. Other games that he's done have been you must do this and that And that over there, and this over there, you have to do that as well if you want to have a chance to win. You can do whatever you want, but if you want to try to win, nah, not going to happen. So I really enjoy Caverna a lot. It's one of my favorite games from that weight. Plus, there's dwarves in it. So that's that. My number 61, Caverna, the Cave Farmers.
All right, my 61 has had quite a big drop. Actually, it was 21 last time.
Ooh.
And I would have put it even lower if I had known Tom was going to be a jerk today. Cosmic Encounter. That's right, baby. Write it down, son.
notes.
Write it down. Cosmic Encounter is a fantastic game, probably the oldest game on the list. This is from what, 77?
Yes.
I think this was published in 77.
It's 1 year younger than I am.
There you go. You all now know how old Tom is. I really enjoyed of course, it's been published quite a few times. The latest printing of it from Fantasy Flight Games is a fantastic production. There's a bunch of aliens, bunch of cards, modules that have been released by now. This is a game that when I first played, or attempted to play, I should say, I didn't really get it. This one had to grow on me, which is rare for most games. If I don't like something off the bat, even if I try again, I'm probably not going to really get into it. But this one actually did grow on me. And I think that's all a point of view thing. You got to go into it knowing the kind of experience you're going to get into. It's silly, it's sort of over the top, and it paints in broad strokes, this game. And if you know that, you're likely to have a better time with it. So there you go. Cosmic Encounter, 61.
And your 61, new to the list, is Pandemic Legacy Season 2.
Bam.
Yeah, it's pretty high for
Did we
coming
mention
on.
one already?
No, 1 is higher on the list. We'll see where that one. Last year, 1 was.
Super high.
I want to say last year 1 was number 3. Let me see if I'm right.
High?
Last year, Pandemic Legacy Season 1 was number 3. Okay, so this one is coming on the list slightly lower than that, but still, it's on the list.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And so that I was wondering because it doesn't seem as many people have played this one. Partially because I think a lot of people haven't finished the first one and they don't want to play them out of order.
Right. No, you should, yeah.
So there you go. That's your number 61, Pandemic Legacy Season 2. And that's that for another top 10. Oh wait, here's 10 grievances I have against.
Go ahead. I gotta hear this. Is that what you've been writing?
Well, you mocked Lords of Waterdeep, you mocked Markland, you mocked El Grande.
Markland.
Take the ride, Markland. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you mocked the trains in Markland.
Yeah, go ahead. Keep going. That's two.
You weren't
Number
listening,
8.
You weren't listening to. You mocked El Grande.
Okay. Number 7.
You weren't listening to Sam when he was talking about one game. He had to ask him what
Twilight
it was.
Struggle is what it was, by the way. There you go. Number 6.
You were mocking counting that people do.
Number 5.
You did an annoying top 10 voice as I was going through these.
He knew about that. Number 4.
You called me a jerk.
I did? That doesn't sound like me. Number 3.
You were fixing people's grammar and mocking that. I don't have a number 2. Number 1, general lunacy.
That's good word usage.
General lunacy.
Oh, and condescension, I guess, would be number 2.
There you go. Earned it at the end. I wanted you to have the full top 10.
Thanks so much. Hey, folks, thanks so much for watching. Was that long enough for you? Anyway, until next time, I'm Tom Bassel.
I'm Z Garcia. Have a good one.
Sam Healy. See you on the flip side, folks.